new GT3 LoE season. There's a lot of glitching going on. Get all the ranked info up. New format here. We've got a teams championship, so 2 drivers per team per car. So there's a car per team. No 2 teams have the same car. So we can see the SMM, Cymax Motorworks team, they are running the Mercedes AMG GT3. Palmer is going to be the first one to set a lap. He's just started his flying lap now. Second will be Chais. Third, James Head. Fourth, Ton Albanach. Fifth, QVR Verstappen. Sixth, Pratik Benya. 7, XL Ling. 8, Super Gamer. 9, Cloudy Cloud. 10, Sir Ibo. And 11 will be Jackster. It looks like he may be stuck in the pits. But it is Palmer that brings us into this new season of GT Sport. I'm just going to see... I'm right about my controller dying because the charger has stopped working, so if that does die I'll need to run downstairs and get another controller, but hopefully we'll have no issues tonight riding on board with Palmer. Of course, only 2 flying laps available to will be based on how many laps you can get in, i.e. you want to get 2 flying laps in, no pit stops, so it's really a test of who is not going to crack under the pressure. So Palmer will be the first one to set a lap of the new season in his Mercedes AMG GT3. Really solid car, this one. Set up fixed, of course, so it'll be very similar to daily races or Nations Cup Manufacturer Series that you see on the official sport mode of GT Sport in terms of the car performance. But it looks like, I'd probably say the Mercedes and the Toyotas, otherwise as we get the message that my controller battery is low, so that isn't a good start. So I may have to run down and get a second controller. Hopefully not. Palmer has set the fastest time so far. Chais has come across the line. Looks like Palmer's really sliding into the centre S. Chais has come in second, just half a tenth behind. James Head in third. Verstappen in fourth. Racing in a questionable livery, to say the least, with the number 1 on it, but a really solid car, the Toyota. Of course, his teammate QVR Campbell, the champion of last season's Division 1 GT Sport. Campbell is not with us tonight, but he'll be back next week, I believe. But it is QVR Verstappen taking the helm of the QVR team today, as that's Palmer that's gone off, so he won't be setting another lap. It's Chais, actually, apologies, not Palmer. Palmer obviously going for another lap, but I didn't look like he went much faster if that sector 1 was anything to go by. So I believe at a lull in the race I will have to go and get a second controller, so apologies in advance for that. But Palmer's going to come across the line, and he could, yeah, it looks like he's actually going to get another lap in as well. He's going to get 3 flying laps in, which is more than you can say for, I think, pretty much anyone. Maybe James Verstappen is going to be tight, but I reckon he'll get it. We'll get it. Quite a few of them will get it. I doubt. I think Ling will be the first of the drivers not to get a second time in. So Palmer, third time in. Apologies. Palmer not improve. XL Ling, is he going to make it? He just makes it. Did Chais make it as well? Chais also made it. So the top 6 drivers all got an extra lap in. The rest of the guys, including the Honda team here, they did not squeeze another lap in. So let's ride on. I don't think anyone is going to improve on their 3rd lap. Yeah, no, Chais has backed off. James will ride with James Head, but I seriously doubt anyone will improve at this point. Maybe Ling didn't make... Oh no, I don't know. So Palmer leads the qualifying session at the moment. It looks like it's going to be pole for Palmer ahead of Chais in 2nd, James Head 3rd, Ton Albanach 4th, QVR Verstappen 5th, Ling 6th, Super Gamer 7th ahead of his teammate Pratik in 8th, 9 is the Jaguar of Cloudy Cloud ahead of Sir Ibo in the second Lexus. And then last is Jackster, who I believe got stuck in the pit lane. But it's Palmer that takes the first pole of the new GT Sport season, and he'll have the advantage going into the first race. So, here we are ahead of the first race of the brand new League of Europe GT Sport season. Palmer takes the first pole ahead of his teammates Chais. It's a SMM and Mercedes 1-2. And it is lights out and away we go. That they were definitely held for a long time there, but it looks like it is going to be Palmer that takes the lead into turn one ahead of his teammate Chais. Just behind him, Ton Albanak looking to make his way up to third position ahead of James Head, but he's going to try and stick around the outside. No, he backs out of it. So that's Ton into third, and there's a contact between the two Honda teammates of Super Gamer and Patrick. Pratik, sorry, and QBR Verstappen up to sixth. So apologies, I've just been brought a second controller by my brother. I sent him a text, so he's brought that up to me, so I will connect that in a moment. But it is Palmer that leads ahead of Chais, Ton Albanak in third, James Head fourth, Pratik in fifth, Ling in sixth, QBR Verstappen in seventh, Super Gamer in eighth, Cloudy Cloud in ninth, Sir Ibo in 10th, and Jackster did not make the start of the race. So 10 drivers. Hopefully this will not be a dry race with an hour of running. So as 2 drivers go onto the grass there, as there's lots of lag in the lobby. So hopefully no more disconnects or anything like that. The lobby wasn't an orange setting when I joined it, orange connection. So I will, well, I can't really do anything, but I hope nothing else happens. Palmer leads us on the first lap. I would put my money on him, barring any mistakes. He should have this in the bag, but we all know that mistakes are common in GT Sport for everyone, really. As there's a big gap between 4th and 5th. These 3 out of the top 4 guys were in Division 1 last season in the Porsche Cup. XL Dan was also in the top division. As QBR Verstappen really in a fight for 5th position. He's been overtaken by Pratik. He was looking to go up the inside of him, but we'll take a look back on that replay. A 3-way battle for 5th position going on at the moment. QBR Verstappen looking round the outside of Pratik, but he couldn't get that move done. Look for the switchback again, but no chance for a move yet. There's a bit of contact on the exit as well. But Palmer still leads this race. Pratik apologising to Verstappen. I wonder what that was about. Maybe they had a big bit of contact. Can we catch it on stream? Yes, there was contact between Pratik and Verstappen, which led to Verstappen doing a half spin and being collected by Super Gamer, I believe, but no damage done. Oh, there is damage. Yep, Verstappen has damage, and of course damage is on heavy this season, and therefore he will have to pit to get rid of it. It won't disappear after 30 seconds as it previously did. So that is a huge blow for Verstappen's first race. He's going to have to try something different now. Maybe try a medium stint early on to try and, is in 10th in that red and bright green. Pratik apologising once again to Verstappen. Probably should just get on with the race. But Super Gamer and Verstappen both into the pits. Palmer leads by 1.2 seconds ahead of Chais, ahead of Ton Albanak, ahead of James Head, XL Ling, Cloudy Cloud, Pratik, Sir Ibo, Verstappen and Super Gamer. As I will just take this moment now to change controllers. Okay, I think we are all sorted again. I've swapped controllers over now, so hopefully this controller shouldn't die. I believe there's a problem with my other controller, so hopefully we can, or I can sort that in time for the next race, or in time for my next race as well. Campbell's commenting on the stream, shame he can't attend tonight, but he hopes to see a good show. Just consider this me giving them all a chance, right? Yes, of course, Campbell. That's what I thought, just giving them all a chance as last year's race. Oh, Pratik has left the room, so apologies if we missed anything that happened there. It looked like he maybe had just had enough. But now only 9 drivers with 55 minutes of racing remaining. Hopefully not a snooze fest. So Palmer now has a 2.1 second lead over his teammate Chais. Pretty chaotic start, but everyone's sort of settled into the race now. No real close battles going on for us to view, unfortunately, as I thought Verstappen has gone on to the medium tyres. But at the moment, no battle going on. Looks like QVR Verstappen is closing up on Super Gamer. Although he's just lost a bit of time into the first corner, but he's going to get a better exit out of it. Yeah, he's just gained all that time he lost and then some more on the same tyres, these two. So let's ride on board. He's in the slipstream now. Oh, he's gaining massively. So I would probably say that Super Gamer and Pratik have been slightly screwed here, because the Honda is definitely a wild beast to control, but it looks like Super Gamer possibly pretty new to GT Sport. His lines aren't what you'd see, well, they're not exactly what you'd say were conventional racing lines. But Verstappen losing out slightly in the middle sector. That is where the Honda will be strong, in that really slow technical section with the turning it's got, although it's really all over the place out of the corners. More practice required, I believe, for Super Gamer. Palmer has a stonking lead now, you've got to say. Really in command of this race without his last season's title rival, QVR Campbell. Ton Albanak, after stepping up from Division 2 last season, only one division I believe this season. But Dan, or XL Ling as he's now known, is rounding out the top 4. James Head quite far behind her. He looks like he's had a pit stop. He's on the medium tyres now, so maybe trying some alternate strategy to the others. So Verstappen has got past Super Gamer. Oh, it looks like... Yes, he's gotten past Super Gamer. Super Gamer admitting in the chat prior to this race he hadn't practiced enough. So yes, definitely more practice required for the Honda driver. Ton Albanak has taken the lead as Palmer and Chais have both pitted. They've really closed up, so Palmer putting in a little bit more fuel than Chais there. He can afford to do that with the gap he has. So Ton Albanak now makes his pit stop. He's gone into the pits now. So it'll be interesting to see how far away from the SMM drivers he ends up. Let's move my keyboard onto my lap. He's going to come out he's just going to come out just behind Chais. He's not far off, and he's now on the soft tyres. So he's only 1.3 seconds behind Chais, but he's on softer tyres and pretty much the same amount of fuel. So that looks to have been a good in-lap from Ton. And, well, Palmer still has a pretty resounding lead, but Ton Albanak is really in with a chance of catching up to SMM Chais now. James Head ain't too far off behind them either. XL Ling is rounding out the top 5. Verstappen is in 6th, Super Gamer in 7th, Cloudy Cloud in 8th, and Sir Ibo rounding out the back of the field in 9th position. So going through the start of the new season, while we've got a bit of a lull in the action, I'm going to give a little livery review. So we have SMM Motorsport, Sidemax Motorworks, sorry. They are the first team that we're going to look at, considering they are 1 and 2 in the race at the moment. SMM Palmer and SMM Chais recently signing for Sidemax Motorworks, of course. Previously SLM Palmer and SLM Chais. I believe Palmer still does race in SLM, I could be wrong. I don't think Chais does anymore. But these guys have done a really well. Palmer has done a really good job with this livery. I'd probably give it a good 8 out of 10. Couple bits I reckon could be neater, but it's a really nice looking livery overall. Looks very professional, so I'd give that a solid 8 out of 10. Ton Albanak, I don't believe he created this livery himself, or he's already caught up a second to Chais. He's really on the back of him now, but I love that livery. I would normally give it an 8 or 9 out of 10, but since it's not an original livery, I can tell you that I'll probably give it I'll deduct it 2 points, so I'll give it a 6. 4th is XL Ling in his Jaguar, who's overtaken James Head. James Head must have had a mistake there somewhere, because he has let's have a look if we can catch that. No, it looks like XL Ling has caught up to James Head on his fresh softs versus James's old mediums, and he's got that move done. So, speaking of moves, he's right on the back of Chais now, so we'll suspend our livery review for the time being and focus on this battle. Ton Albanak is right behind SMM Chais now. I know the Mercedes has really good top end speed, but of course that V12 in the old spec Aston Martin GT3 is going to be really it's going to help him a lot to try and catch up this gap. The gap is down to 2. But we'll power through it. He's looking up the inside. Is he going to be able to make a move into the centre S? He sets the purple, the fastest lap of the session so far in doing so. He looks up the inside. He's got that move done for the time being. Chais looking for the switchback, but that is Ton Albanak up into second position. But it's SMM Chais effectively pushing him through the exit of the centre S. And they're going to be very close, but I think Ton Albanak will now have that move done, getting ahead of SMM Chais. So, moving on, carrying on with our livery review for the time being, we'll move on to XL Dan or XL Ling in his, this is definitely a custom-made livery, his Jaguar F-Type, sorry. Really nice looking car. We've got both the team name drivers on the side, I believe. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. The two, I'm guessing, I don't know their team name, XL. Team XL, I'd take a guess. But yeah, that's a pretty nice looking livery. Very simple, but it works. I'd probably give that a 6 out of 10 as well. James Head, he's in 5th. He's racing, well, he's representing SLM all over his car, so I'd guess he'd be Team SLM. As a guess, James Head number 7. Very simple livery, but it's a really nice red. I'd probably also give that one a 6. Now Verstappen's, this is not an original livery. This will be made by someone else. I like the black and green, but I've got to say, oh, I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. Personal opinion. Oh no, I'm not offending Verstappen as it's not his. Oh, I don't think it is. It's a bit awkward if it is, but I don't think it's his original livery. But I'd probably have to give that a 5. Really not a big fan of that livery on Kvyat Verstappen's car. Super Gamer, I can't really give this a rating. It's just the original Honda livery that comes with the car. I do quite like it though. As an actual livery, I'd probably give it an 8, but I'd have to deduct him at least 3 points. So I'll probably give him a 5. On to Sir Ibo. Oh, it's similar to of his teammate, I would guess. But yeah, both from Team Lexus. So I'd probably have to give that a 4. Sorry, Sir Ibo. That isn't for me. The red and the green really doesn't work. I like the license plates though. They're pretty cool. But apart from that, there's not much to redeem this livery. But now we've gone through insulting everyone's livery, we'll get back to the race. Palmer still has that lead of 2.3 seconds, but Ton Albanak still has to do that stint on the medium tyres. Charles has dropped back slightly, whereas Dan is in 4th, James is in 5th, Verstappen in 6th, Cloudy Cloud in 7th, Super Gamer in 8th, and Sir Ibo in 9th. So James Head has now come into the pits for Team Lexus. That's what I should have called them when I was doing the livery review, so whatever car they're using, because each team has its own car. Oh, lots of lag coming out of pit lane. Ton Albanak seems to be dropping off the back of Palmer now slightly. His tyres are pretty worn. XL Ling doing a pretty good job in 4th. James Head will be probably pretty disappointed with his race so far. A race, I believe he won a race last season. He definitely got a couple of podiums, but or maybe no, maybe he just got podiums. But he was a very competitive in Division 1 in the Porsche Cup, but not so much. But Palmer still leading this race. I would quite like to show you his race helmet. That's a new design for Palmer there. That's a pretty nice crash helmet. So while we've got a bit of a pause in the action, let's have a look. I'm not going to report it, but yeah, new helmet for the new season for Palmer with the new livery and the new car. So obviously been busy in the off season doing some designing, but at the moment no real close battles going on for the time being. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be back very shortly. welcome back. Apologies for that short break there. Needed a quick break for a moment, but we're back. We'll probably have a couple more during the race. But it looks like, apologies, I have missed James Head overtaking XL Ling. Looks like he did this the previous lap. So, but I don't think we missed much else. I know Verstappen has just pitted. Super Gamer still pretty far behind. Sir Ibo way back. Still 40 minutes remaining in this race. Tom looks to be catching up pretty nicely to SLM Palmer now. So maybe he is someone to look out for this race. He's done a really strong showing considering he was in Division 2 last season. So I'll try and look at some comments if the stream will load on my phone. Any questions, please do let me know. But I seem not to be able to get the stream up on my phone, so I will try and sort that. In the meanwhile, let's catch up with the race. Super Gamer's now left the room. Wow, okay, so we've only got 8 drivers remaining, as that's Sir Ibo with a big spin. Rejoining now, can we catch that? He's gone wide. Got a penalty for that, I believe. Then he's gone way too deep into the right-hander, and he's cutting across the grass. Hopefully doesn't impede anyone on his way. He's getting lapped now. Campbell, we need you. We need you back, Campbell. Wherever you are. We need a fight to the front. Ton Albanak timing that to perfection with only 1% fuel remaining. Palmer hasn't got much more, so it is going to be close between these guys, but of course Ton Albanak still has to do that medium stint. I think YouTube, there's something wrong with YouTube. I can't load anything. So I cannot look at the comments at the moment. Oh, here we go. It's just loaded. So Sharon, back again for the new season. Welcome back, Sharon. Sharon, of course, an icon of the Porsche Cup Series, commenting, supporting her son Palmer all the way. I'm sure that had a big impact on his championship run. Of course, not quite clinching the championship, but was very close and fought until the bitter end. Either Campbell or Palmer would have deserved to win the championship last season, but Campbell just came out on top after a couple of mistakes from Palmer towards the end of the season. But nonetheless, a great effort last season from the Sidemax Motorworks driver. As Palmer now comes to the pits with only 2% remaining of fuel. Verstappen looks to be closing up to Cloudy Cloud. No, yes, he does. Although, that's strange. Verstappen's gap to Cloudy Cloud is... Oh, it's just increased. It looked like it was half a second. Palmer now exiting the pits. I'm guessing that's a Super Gamer commenting, saying, sorry that I left, but I've been drifting at every single corner at my tyre rails, and saying, well, that's probably... Oh, as that looks like that's Ton Albanak coming into the lead ahead of SMM Palmer. Both of them on the soft tyres. Ton Albanak comes out ahead of SMM Palmer, but he has quite a lot less fuel and he still has to do a medium stint. So that is Ton Albanak into the lead of the race for Team Aston Martin in the Aston Martin V12 Vantage GT3. Back to Super Gamer's comment. Sorry, Super Gamer, but I've got to say that's probably the wrong attitude to have. Should have done more practice. So yeah, hopefully it won't happen again. Of course, I've got no authority. I can't really tell anyone off. But now we've only got 8 drivers left. It's a bit of a joke, people leaving after not even halfway through the race. So for, as Ton Albanak is really under pressure from Palmer. Now Palmer's got a great exit out of Yunsao, the final corner. He's right on the back of him. Let's try and get an onboard shot. We'll go with the bumper cam. He's right on the back of that Aston Martin, but both of these cars are absolutely monster in a straight line, so it's going to be close. Palmer pulls out of the slipstream. Is he going to make a move into turn one? He looks up the inside. Ton Albanak's going to try and hold it round the outside. No, he looks for the switchback. He's going to try and get a better exit through the centre S onto the second straight, but it looks like Palmer's got a pretty decent gap between them now, but Ton Albanak is not out of this yet. He's only 3.5 tenths behind, and that gap is coming down quickly. On board with Ton Albanak now. He's going to look for a move up into the inside. No, he's not. He backs out of it, and that's Palmer into the lead of the race. And I believe it's probably still in Palmer's hands for the time being. Chais is still in third, so it could be an interesting fight between Albanak and Chais for the second of the podium positions. James Head lapping his teammate as he goes wide. Oh, almost a spin there. That's definitely a Code Brown moment for James Head, overtaking his teammate, lapping his teammate, and he gets a half-second penalty as well to boot. So that is not good for the SLM Lexus driver, as Palmer is beginning to pull away ever so slightly from Ton Albanak, and it looks like he has retained that lead pretty well. Yeah, Super Gamer in the comments again talking about the Honda. It's definitely a slidey car, but there are ways to fix that. Even though there's no setup, there are definitely ways to fix it. So if you prepare to fail to prepare, prepare to fail, as the old saying goes. So maybe a bit more practice needed. The Honda can definitely be seriously quick, but I accept it is definitely harder to control than most cars on the game. But it's also you can tame it. So maybe better luck next week, and hopefully you'll be back and make an improvement on your showing this week. James Head pulls into the pits now. He's going to have to serve this penalty as well as he comes out of the pits. Is he going to serve it? Ooh, that's a bit risky from James there, not serving his penalty. He'll have to serve it on the next lap. We will keep an eye on that, and not to be a snitch, but James Head could be in for a penalty there if he does not serve his slow down penalty on the next lap. But pretty big gaps between all the drivers at the moment. XL Ling pulls into the pits now from 4th position. James Head is overtaking him now, so let's see if he does actually serve that penalty now. Oh, it's down to a 10th, so is he going to serve it? Come on, James, serve it. Don't get a penalty. Don't get a penalty. Serve your penalty. Please serve it. Yes, he's serving it, but he only served a 10th, so I don't know how well that's going to go down in the steward's room. He definitely had the opportunity to serve it on the lap before, but we'll see how that goes down after the race. But it's Palmer that leads ahead of Ton Albanak in 2nd, 3rd is Chais, 4th XL Dan, 5th is James Head, followed by Verstappen, Cloudy Cloud and Sir Ibo rounds out the remainder. Oh, look at his tyres. Oh Jesus, that is an awful amount of tyre wear. He needs to pit. Please, Sir Ibo, you need to pit. 5 seconds of penalties. Oh, it's gone from bad to worse for Sir Ibo. Really slow. So not a good race for Sir Ibo, as we have just reached the halfway point a minute and a few seconds ago. As I had an error with the stream there, but it's now back on track, so hopefully no more issues for the remainder of this race. Only half an hour remaining. But it is, as I don't want to do that, it is Palmer that leads the race, as we will head into another quick break. So, as you will have just seen, Tom Albanak and Chais both coming to the pits. Chais closing that gap by a couple of seconds. Both still on the soft tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with strategy, but Palmer with a 23-second lead with 25 minutes remaining in this race. It's going to be tough for anyone to catch him now, especially with such a small field at the moment. So Palmer still not pitting on those soft tyres, so maybe trying to reduce his race a pit stop or two by holding out for some extra long stints. Of course he can afford to do that with such a big lead, but hopefully no mistakes for the side Max Motorworks drivers to put the other, well, obviously we'd like to see a closer race, but not through someone's mistake or bad luck. We'd like to see it through hard racing and a full grid. So hopefully we will be back next week with more drivers. Of course, now missing 7 drivers. We've only got 8 and there's a total of 14 drivers, so we're missing 7, which isn't really great. But we move on and we get on with the task at hand, that is watching this race tonight. So Palmer heads into the pits now. It's going to be interesting to see if Ton Albanak has caught up any. Oh, he's got Chais right on the back of him now. So we've got a bit of a battle going on, which is what we love to see. Palmer has pulled into the pits now. So let's see where he comes out in all this. You'd have to assume he'd come out ahead of these two, but I guess we will find out. Chais looking for that overtake on Ton Albanak, but he's not going to get it done there. But now he goes for the switchback onto the second straight, and he's looking up the inside. He's got a great run through the centre S. There's a bit of contact between the two. Chais has got the inside line. He's half a car length inside. Is he going to be able to make a move? He keeps his nose in. They're going too wide into the corner, but Chais has to back out of that. Palmer still massively in the lead. He's got a 7-second lead still. So Palmer definitely in command of this race. He's got the most fuel, he's got the freshest tyres, and he's got a 7-second lead. So he is pretty sorted for the time being. Ton Albanak and Chais, pretty similar levels of fuel and tyres. Ton Albanak's actually got more fuel, so he'll have to have a shorter pit. Still have a shorter pit stop next time round, but Chais will Ton Albanak has to do a stint on the medium tyres, unless I don't think Ton Albanak did a stint on the but here we have Chais on the back of Ton Albanak. Only a 10.5 separates them. Ton defend to the inside. This is exactly what happened last time. He's glitching. They're side by side. Ton doesn't go defensive. He stays on the outside trying to stick it around him. No, goes for the switchback. But I think that'll be exactly the same move done by Palmer on Chais. Palmer on Ton Albanak, done by his teammate Chais on Ton as well. So Chais into second position for the time being, still 8 seconds behind his teammate. But both these drivers will have another stop, or maybe even 2. But I believe Ton Albanak still has to run the medium tyres. XL Ling is up in 4th position. QBR Verstappen up to 5th. James Head is going to come out just behind him in 6th place. Cloudy Cloud in 7th, and Sir Ibo 3 minutes behind the leaders. Oh, look. Oh, no. It's Ibo, please pit. For the love of God, please pit. Look at those tyres. I've never seen anyone in a league race have 100% worn tyres before. Please pit. He's got to pit. Surely. He's pitting. Thank God. He is pitting. I don't know what's going through his head, but those tyres, they will be going straight in the scrap heap. Absolutely no use for those anymore. Jesus, they are bad. So Chais has not really pulled away significantly. The gap has remained at about 3/10 the entire way so far, ever since Chais overtook the Aston Martin driver. But to no avail so far. He hasn't really pulled away much. Palmer with a lead of 10.5 seconds now. So barring any mistakes, he should have this one in the bag. Don't want to jinx him though, so I'll touch wood. If anyone has any action going on at the moment, aside for this battle for P2, but even that is not particularly close. Anything else going on? No, nothing throughout the rest of the field. Chai's now extending that gap very slightly to Ton Albanak. But it's going to be interesting between these two at the end of the race. Albanak with actually quite a bit more fuel than Chai, so Chai's going to have to pull out a longer pit stop. It's going to be interesting to see what tyres Ton Albanak goes into, because I can't remember. Surely he hasn't gone on mediums yet. I don't think he qualified on mediums. His second stint was definitely on softs. I'm not sure what tyres' first stint was on, but I'm sure it wasn't mediums, or I've just completely missed it and he's pulled a blinder with the strategy. But that should be Chai's into the pits on this lap. He's got barely any fuel left. Yep, as Chai spawns into the pits, Ton Albanak stays out for an extra lap. Palmer is clearly in a league of his own at the moment. Chai into the pits, Sidemax Motorworks driver. His teammate leading the race. And Chai's in a comfortable second position. Comfortable podium position, apologies. Second is all but comfortable for this driver. So let's keep an eye on Ton Albanak. It'll be he must go into the pits on this lap, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see the gap between him and his podium, his second position rival, SMM Chai's. Got to say, I'd probably say Ton Albanak has impressed me the most today, coming up from Division 2, which was, of course, he was in last season, really stepping up to the mark for this race. Hopefully he can continue this strong form into the rest of the season as he does pull into the pits. Chai's he's coming out of the last sector now. He's on the main straight, so it is going to be close between these two guys. Of course, Chai's will have caught up a lot on that last lap through the undercut, but will it be enough to exceed the amount of to overcome the pit stop time difference. Ton Albanak now coming out of the pits. It's definitely going to be close. Chais looks to have got out ahead of Ton Albanak, who has now gone to the mediums. And Ton Albanak does come out in 5th position. Behind XL Ling. He's put in way more fuel than Chai's, so obviously Chai's expecting another pit stop, so it's not over yet. It is definitely not over yet. We will be able to see that battle unfold towards the end of the race. Only 12 minutes remaining now, less than a quarter of the race left. Kvyat Verstappen lapping Sir Ibo. Cloudy Cloud is just pissed he's coming out of the pits. But once again, not much action at the moment, but I believe this battle between Chais and Ton Albanak is far from over, and we will definitely see it towards the end of the race. Welcome back. We're here for the final 9 minutes of the first round of the League of Europe season. Palmer now comes into the pits. I'm just going to send a quick friend request to Ton Albanak. I mean, I'm of course assuming he'll get a podium, as it did seem likely that he would. But I don't have him as a friend, so I'll add him now. So if he does finish on the podium, I will be able to invite him for podium interviews. So I've invited Ton. As Ling has now pulled into the pits for his final stop. Palmer definitely on course for a hat-trick here. I don't know. He won't quite be on for a Grand Slam, as he did not technically lead every lap, as he takes quite a big cut out of that corner there. But he'll definitely be happy with a hat-trick. Would have liked a Grand Slam, of course, that being pole, win, lead every lap, fastest lap. But he'll just have the pole, win and fastest lap, but I'm sure that won't matter to him too much. I'm sure he'll get over it. I'm sure he'll be happy with P1 in this race, as long as he does get that in the end. Of course, it's not completely over yet. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see what happens between Ton Albanek and Chais. There's an 11-second gap. Chais is definitely gonna have to do a splash and dash. Is he coming in on this lap? Let's have a look. He's coming up to the pit entry now. He's sticking to the left, it looks like, so maybe that is a pit stop incoming. Yes, it is. So this is where it's going to get interesting. Ton Albanek, I doubt he is pitting. With a David Coulthard helmet. Maybe he is Scottish. It kind of sounds like a Scottish name. I could be completely wrong there. But Ton Albanek is looking like he's going to overtake Chais in the pit lane. It's going to be close, that's for sure. Chais is going to be on the soft tyres. Ton Albanek has overtaken the SMM driver. How close is it going to be? Chais coming out of the pits. He's a couple of seconds behind. Let's see what the gap actually is. 1.8 seconds. 1.9 seconds. It's going to be about 2 seconds as he comes out of the pits. So he's got 2.5 seconds to catch up in about 4 or 5 laps. Definitely doable on fresher soft tyres versus Ton Albanek's mediums, but this is going to be a straight fight now towards the end of the race. This is exciting. It's finally come out. Please give us a race, guys. We've been missing out on some action this race, but this could be the finale that we all wanted. Already, look at that, he's already caught up 1.5 seconds on that lap. It's gonna be it looks like it's going to be a pretty easy move by the end of it, but he's going for the inside now. He's looking for a move, he's gone for a dive, and that is going to be Chais up into second position already. We wanted a battle and we got the tiniest of battles, but a brilliant move from Chais there. Let's just take a look at that. He comes from so far back. Brilliant move from the SMM Mercedes driver, and that puts him into second place, and of course that would mean a Mercedes and SMM 1-2 if it finishes in this order. Well, that was a bit of excitement towards the end of the race, but not as much of a battle as we would have hoped. This is going to be interesting though. XL Ling only 4.5 seconds behind at Ton Albanek on fresher soft tyres, so that could definitely be something to look out for. Ton Albanek may actually not get the podium that he looked so certain for towards the start of this race. So we will find out when this race is over. So Dan has already caught up, or Ling I should say, has caught up over a second on this lap. So yeah, this is definitely something to look out for. We could get It's going to be close between these two. I'm not gonna jinx anything, but it definitely is going to be close between these two towards the end of this race. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out on. Any other battles? No, nothing going on. Cerebro doing his usual antics, sliding all over the place. But it is Chais that leads with 2.5 minutes remaining. That should be 2 laps. No, 3 laps. Excuse me, 3 laps left. So it's definitely going to be close between Ton Albanach and XL Ling. No, it's 2 laps. It's definitely 2 laps. So 2 laps as XL Ling has caught up another second there. So it is really going to be close. 2 laps remaining for these drivers. And XL Ling is closing rapidly on the Aston Martin driver of Ton Albanach. As I'll just move my mic slightly further away from my mouth to avoid any popping. Right on board with the Jaguar. This car, very easy to drive. It's a bit of a boat as the gap is now down to 1.8 seconds. XL Ling is on a mission here. He is really catching up to the back of Ton Albanach. Fuel is not an excuse. It is those tyres, those worn medium tyres versus those fresher soft tyres. Ling really, he's a man possessed. He's catching up rapidly to Ton Albanach on those medium tyres. So maybe this strategy call was not great after all, not taking the medium tyres until the very end of the race. Maybe it would have been better to start off the second stint like the SMM drivers did on the medium tyres. Look at that. Ling really catching up to Ton Albanach towards the end of this race. It's definitely going to be close. They got a lap and a half remaining. 1.3 seconds is the gap. Ling needs to get close to him in this final sector to have a chance of overtaking him on the final lap, which will be the next one. Palmer now has started his final lap. Chai's 25 seconds behind him, about to start his as well. Ling, a second now is the gap, so he's very nearly in that slipstream zone, only 9/10 of a second. He is really charging towards the Aston Martin driver, Ton Albanach, under a lot of pressure right now. Ling is at least 1.5 seconds quicker per lap, if not more. This lap, Ton Albanach did a 33.1. XL Ling did a 31.6. Yep, so I was right, 1.5 seconds per lap, and he's 9/10 behind now. Ton needs to get this move done as quickly. XL Ling needs to get this move done as quickly as possible. Only half a second separates them now. It's going to be really close by the end of this race. He's in the slipstream now. The gap will be coming down, but he's going to have to make a move sooner rather than later. This is the final lap, of course. Ton Albanach taking a tighter line into turn 4. It's going to be close, but there's no really anywhere to overtake without an incredibly ballsy move in the middle sector. It's we finally got some action towards the end of the race. It's really picked up. Ling is so much faster than Albanach right now. Look, he's going to look up the inside of the next corner. No, he doesn't. He backs out, goes to the better exit. Ling going slightly deep. Albanach going slightly deep there. Ling looking around the outside of the left hand now, but that's not going to work. He's going to get a better exit up the hill towards the next right-hander. He's looking towards the outside now. No move to be had there. It's going to be so close at the end of this race between these two. He's going to have a great exit out of there. He's side by side, and he's got that move done out of that right-hander, and he has made his way up into the podium position, stealing it away from Ton Albanach on the final lap of the race. Is there anything to be said from Ton? It looks like that'll be it, but he's going to have the slipstream running up the hill, but XL Ling's got a better exit running up out of Yunsao. Finally some action. It's going to be close. It's definitely going to be separated by less than 3/10. Palmer crosses the line, but we don't care about that right now. He's won the race, but it's going to be really close in the battle for third position. They're going to come across the line almost side by side. Ton Albanach finishes 4th, Ling in 3rd, but it is Palmer that wins the first race of the League of Europe GT3 season. His teammate Chai's in 2nd, Ling 3rd, Albanach 4th. James Head, a respectable result in 5th. Kvyat Verstappen is going to come across the line in 6th. Then Cloudy Cloud and Sir Ibo finish 7th and 8th respectively to round off the first race of the League of Europe season. So I will invite the drivers to the party, the top 3 drivers. Oh, it was good in the end, wasn't it? It was a bit of a dry race for most of the time, being a couple of battles here and there. but that finale was definitely worth it. So I will invite Dan, Palmer, and I think Chise is probably appearing offline. Oh, Chise, why'd you have to appear offline? Yep. So I've invited those three to a party now. Hopefully they all join. Oh, you're going to get any of the drivers joining the party. All three are still in the lobby, so I would hope so. As Palmer has joined the party, welcome. We will just wait for the other two to join as well. Giles has joined, just waiting on Dan now. So we'll give him a couple seconds. As I will just message Dan. Give him a couple more seconds, otherwise we will get on with the side max boys that are in P1 and P2. We'll just invite Dan again. If not, we'll start with Chise. We'll start with you, Chise, in P2. Really good race from you. Good battle with Ton for the majority of that race, but the strategy just got you ahead at the end.
Yeah, I think the strategy was really weird with the mediums, because the mediums were so incredibly slow. Unlike worn softs, they were even faster than the mediums if they were new or not. So just really confusing.
Yes, you definitely saw that towards the end. You obviously wouldn't have seen it, but XL Dan on pretty worn softs was catching up to Ton on the mediums by about a second and a half a lap. As Dan has now joined the party, so we'll pause our interview with Chise to move on to third place. Dan, how?
It was a pretty boring race until the last few laps, I guess. I didn't really have anything to do except for the last few laps.
Yeah, definitely you were a man on the mission towards the end of that race, catching about a second and a half a lap towards Ton Albanak. It must have been quite a surprise to see you catch that much.
Well, I expected to catch him, but I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, but luckily the mediums didn't last that long for him, so...
Well, he was on fresh mediums, but the mediums were just so much slower than any, even as Chise is saying, mediums were slower than any worn softs at all.
Yeah, and the softs were I could keep pace with them. Like they didn't really fall off that much, to be honest. Even at the end of the stints.
I feel like driving on your rims would have been faster than the mediums.
Well, I don't know about for Sir Ibo. He was driving around a few laps with a literal 0% on his front tyres, so he was obviously pushing the limits of his soft tyres. But we'll carry on with Chise. Anything else you'd like to add?
No. Just a good one for side max, that's it.
Yeah, great one too for side max. So we'll move on to our race winner, last season's championship runner-up, SMM Palmer. A really dominant performance there. Got the hat-trick of a pole win and fastest lap, but didn't quite get the grand slam of leading every lap as well. But how was that race for you?
Yeah, to be honest, I said in SideMax Discord that was the easiest race of my life. Yeah, like there wasn't really a threat. Because in practice, Jackster was the slightest bit faster than me because he had the pit glitch, which is unfortunate, but of course that meant I didn't really have much of a fight. Yeah, and then of course, yeah, quite a lot of retirees as well, so of course that meant there was like less chance of people undercutting and that. And yeah, you know, I was a bit unsure with the strategy because the mediums were a bit weird, like the because of like how the tire wear is, the mediums just didn't seem to last very long. But yeah, not really much to say. It was quite a boring race. Of course, apart from when Ton managed to undercut me, that sort of gave me a bit of a scare. But then after turn 4, I realised I was like a lot more faster, and I just sort of waited until the straight. But of course, that Aston Martin is so quick in the straight line.
Yeah.
That unfortunately, I didn't get the Grand Slam. But yeah, I'm very, very happy to get this win. And of course, knowing that Campbell, of course, couldn't be here, that just makes it even more sweeter.
Fighting talk from our new championship leader after the first round. A win is a win, no matter how it comes about. A dominant performance from Sidemax to get a 1-2, and especially dominant from Palmer. We'll end that here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining for the podium interviews, guys. It was a strange race, that's for sure, but it ended out in a great finale for third place, and it really ended up good to watch. So we'll see you next week. This has been the League of Europe GT3 series. The first round went to SMM Palmer, and we'll see you next week.